it's Aaron from the Overwatch team.
We've got several of our devs here to talk through some of the cool things headed your way.
Another massive season.
Thrilled to brag about my team's hard
An
work.
exciting new hero to our
New
lineup.
ways to play Overwatch.
Biggest new way to play Overwatch 2 that we have ever introduced.
We'll shake things up.
Time to talk about something big.
Can you guys believe it's been 3 years since Overwatch 2 released? I can't. I almost forgot to make my yearly review, and boy do I have a lot to review. If we don't count launch years, then this year is easily the most content-dense year Overwatch has ever had. Let's talk about that. But to do so, we have to talk about another game first, Marvel Rivals. The game dropped in December and took over as the most popular multiplayer at the time. This is significant because the closest comparison to this game is Overwatch. Rivals performing like it did put Overwatch in a spot where it either had to start making big changes or expect to bleed players. In comes the game changer, that is perks. As the game goes on, players progress towards unlocking a choice between buffs for their hero. Not all perks are created equally. Some of them completely change how a hero is played, while others can be pretty unnoticeable or useless. Thankfully, they have been tuning them every season, and in the recent, they even released a batch with over 50 shiny new ones. After all these months of having them, I can say it's not as big of a deal as it originally seemed. It can be annoying to lose an interaction for not tracking enemy perk choices, but the occurrence is rare, and overall, I think it's nice to have an extra something to work towards. So my next idea here might be a little bit ambitious, but I think having 3 perk choices per tier would be nice. I believe it would make defaulting to the same perks less likely and make the choices feel a little more important. Okay, so the other big boy they dropped was Stadium. Long story short, it's an alternate 5v5 multi-round game mode where you're locked into one hero and build that hero with perks and power-ups. This game mode has its own maps, rewards, and dedicated balance team, so it is being supported pretty well. For some players, this mode is a big deal and pretty much all they play, but personally, it's not for me. I've tried it for a couple days, but it doesn't quite catch my interest like the main game does. I also feel like the game is a spreadsheet diff rather than skill and outwitting, but maybe I just need to give it a solid week or a 50-hour trial. Leave a comment down below if you think I should do a 50 hours of Stadium. Anyways, moving on, hero bans. This is good. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it that I haven't already said. I like it. No complaints. Map voting, also a great addition. I can't speak for most ranks, but at least in my games, Pariso never gets picked, King's Row fatigue has set in, and Lijiang is respected as the true GOAT of Overwatch maps. Also, for whatever reason, people are voting Circuit Royale more, which I think is proof of an economic recession.
Brother,
Oh, and here's my map tier list. This seems like a good time to talk about what's new with maps. For starters, they reworked the old Flashpoint maps. They moved around some of the cover and stuff. They also made the Surabasa water look tasty. Cool changes, I guess. They also added a new Flashpoint map called Atlas. To me, this map is a vibe of the day kind of map. It's a very tight map, so it seems more fun to play with the close quarter heroes. Besides that, most of the map changes and additions this 365 have been for Stadium. Stadium people are getting spoiled, which means for base mode Overwatch, we had less map content this year, which might be an okay thing because as it is, we have around 30 maps, which is kind of crazy. Imagine being a new player and trying to learn how to position and path on all 30 maps. Yeah, good luck. On another note, 6v6 got a competitive mode, and similar to Stadium, it has a pretty dedicated player base. But once again, it's not the main mode, so personally, it doesn't pique my interest. At least not long term. A complaint I hear about 6v6 is that the balance sucks, which is ironic to say the least. There's nothing more certain in this life than death, taxes, and the fact that the collective Overwatch player base will never agree on balance. Some people want it to be role queue, but from the time that I've spent playing it, the queues were long, and I can't imagine how much worse it would be if it were role queue. Let's talk new heroes. This Overwatch year, we got Hazard, Freya, and Wu Yang. Hazard has been hated by many for his lethality, sponginess, but my hot take is, as far as Overwatch 2 tank design, he's peak. Better than Junker Queen, better than Ram, better than Mauga. Not that having a better design than Mauga is much of a challenge, but the reason I say Hazard is peak is because he's the first tank with a kit to outplay his counters. Leap to close in distance, block to buy time, and most importantly, wall to counter cooldowns. Sure, his stats may have gone through some OP phases, but kit and design wise, I believe this is how tanks should feel. Moving on to Freya, I'm going to keep things short and sweet. She has the kit of a skillful hero, but the skill drops sharply because of how optimal it is to just shoot tanks with her. Hopefully one day they solve that one. The newest hero, Wu Yang, is somehow incredibly unique and mediocre at the same time. His primary fire is a controlled water or projectile. It's truly fascinating and shines very much in Overwatch. However, once you get over the honeymoon phase of that, you realize the rest of his kit is uninspiring. Dunking on someone with tidal wave point blank is pretty fun, but in most cases, it's a less satisfying shatter, and at times, it's even harder to hit. The surfing ability looks cool, but it's just a faster Juno hover. There's nothing that's too different about it, and it doesn't feel very skillful as far as mobility goes. It's a shame they didn't give it something more, like a double jump or a wall bounce. I'm also just not crazy about the Bubble Bomb ultimate. I played him for 50 hours and to champion, and yet Nano Boost still feels like a more consistent ultimate. So as far as the new heroes go, I feel like they need to focus more on the cool factor and not just what looks cool, but what feels cool. And an easy way to figure that out is just to ask, how montage worthy is this hero compared to the rest? Hazard is decent as far as tanks go, Freya can farm clips until shooting tank is the meta, and Wu Yang loses his spark when the coolest thing he does is hit 3 shots on a flyer or water orb someone around the corner. So anyways, they brought back loot boxes.
4 dupes? Are you shitting me?
This time around, you can't pay for them, you just earn them through playing the game and doing challenges, which I think is cool. I was having this talk with my stream chat the other day. Someone asked if it's a good thing that Overwatch introduces features like loot boxes that incentivize players to grind. The condensed version of what I responded is that if Overwatch didn't have reasons to play beyond gameplay, then a lot of people wouldn't. Using myself as an example, if Overwatch didn't have a ranked, I think I'd grow uninterested pretty fast. Don't get me wrong, I love the game and think it's great on its own, but to play without any goals is just difficult for people like me. So I do think reasons to grind is good, so long as it doesn't become overwhelming. To give an example of gone too far, I've always hated when games make you check in every day, otherwise you'd miss something. So basically stay away from daily check-ins. One of the ways you can earn loot boxes and cosmetics is through the new and improved hero progression. Level up by playing a hero and you unlock the stuff mentioned, as well as upgrade this new hero portrait thing. You can also see your teammates' top 3 heroes without having to check their profile, unless they choose to make it private. Overall, W addition. As well as hero progression, they added hero ranks, which is a numerical system that assigns individual hero ranks. I like the idea, but it's a bit weird. I've seen people with hero ranks way higher than their actual rank, and hero ranks way lower. So for right now, in my eyes, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just some colors on the career profile, but I'll cut them some slack and say this is a recent addition. It's only been out for a little more than a month, so maybe with time, it'll start to mean something. They also recently added the long requested in-game stats. Along with that, there's now an official page with hero pick rates and win rates. It's all good stuff, well overdue, but hey, I'm glad they're here now. Balance this year has been a bit unimpressive. Off the top of my head, there hasn't been any changes I absolutely hate, but there's been a lot of whys. Why did they change this? And more importantly, there hasn't been any changes that have been big and exciting. I like changes that address fundamental issues with a hero and change how they're played. I get that those changes are the more difficult ones to make, but when a new season rolls in, I want to see big shifts in the meta. They seem pretty keen on making those changes through perks, but really it should be base kits as well. Skimming over just a few more things, rank got another reset, some weapon charms happened, galactic weapons, galactic Freya skin, more Overwatch classic patches, Roadhog got unreworked, and I'm sure there's still other stuff I'm missing. Overall, this was a big year for Overwatch, and according to game director Aaron Keller, they're planning to start off the next year with something huge that changes the way people think about playing the game. That's a direct quote, and he's also gone on record to say that previously they had planned on having the story told through PvE, so when that didn't pan out, they had to reset and would quote, like to get back to that. He's referencing the story there, and recently they dropped a comic that does just that. When asked about the cinematics and animated shorts, Aaron Keller said, "For me personally, for us to say Overwatch 2 is firing on all cylinders, we have to have some of that come back." End quote. Hearing this brings me hope because it shows they're trying to bring back something that inspired a lot of people to play the game. So in the end, I'd say this third year of Overwatch has been a good year, and I'm interested to see what they do next year. And I truly mean that, because the question I ask is, at this point, besides small things here and there, what big changes could Overwatch make? Hopefully not PvE again, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Good year, bad one, what do we need, and where will things go? Most importantly, are they finally going to rework souvenirs? Probably not. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as always, good luck on the grind.